My friends, how are you? It is absolutely fantastic to see you for yet another video as the MAGA meltdown continues. And I gotta be honest with you, this just keeps getting more and more entertaining. Yesterday, I told you guys I was kind of not really that interested in covering the Epstein files over and over because it's a very gross, uncomfortable topic, and it is. But as the MAGA meltdown continues to get bigger and bigger, and Donald Trump continues to throw more and more temper tantrums, hell, it's good entertainment, my friends, and that's what we really need in this world right now. While we've got fascists actually trying to take our rights away from us and bankrupt us and starve us to death and kill us in floods and take away our health care, and there's more to that list, my friends. By God, we need something to laugh at now, don't we? Because the rest of that shit's pretty fucking terrifying. So this is just amazingly epic as Donald Trump continues to throw temper tantrums about the Epstein files. And now, my friends, Donald Trump has resorted to calling MAGA stupid because they believe in conspiracy theories and they want to see the Epstein files. And I hate to say this, my friends, but for once in my life, I actually agree with Donald Trump, because the MAGA movement is full of a whole bunch of dumb motherfuckers, and Donald Trump just realized that. But the even more interesting part, he didn't just realize that, he knew the whole time, and he's been manipulating them for a long time, playing off of their stupidity. That's why he's got them all worked up about the transgenders and the Mexicans. You know, the people that aren't a threat to America in any way, he's got them all worked up about that. So now they're shitting their diapers worried about what's going on. But Donald Trump knew they were fucking dumb the entire time. And I meant to make another point, totally forgot what the fuck it was. Oh, an interesting thing, the MAGA movement is now realizing that Donald Trump might be a liar, and all of that is pretty interesting now, isn't it, my friends? So yeah, I agree with Donald Trump's assessment that there are many dumb sons of bitches in the MAGA movement. So I gotta address that, of course, first, because we've all been saying that for a very long time now, haven't we? This is a political movement that does not understand a fucking thing about policy, does not understand a fucking thing about how government works. Our little beta boys willing to give up their rights, my friends, and the rights of their wives and the rights of their daughters, all that so that they can be accepted into the cool crowd. And it's the most beta shit I've ever seen in my fucking life, while they masquerade as alpha males carrying 30 fucking guns on them and talk about how they're gonna whip everyone's ass. Turns out they're really fucking soft, my friends. That's what we really need to be focusing on. And I've always thought about that with the MAGA movement, my friends. You see, I've told you guys before, I'm from the country, right? Rural Colorado, middle of fucking nowhere. You want some places, Baca County, Walsh, Colorado, out in the middle of fucking nowhere. Closest city is Lamar or maybe Springfield. Yeah, there ain't nothing out there. If you're another trucker and you've rolled through 287 Southern Colorado, that's the hood I'm talking about. Middle of fucking nowhere, right? And I always equate sort of what I went through as a child and growing up as sort of how the MAGA movement sort of works. See, when I was out in the country going to school, it was pretty standard to do your schoolwork and try to get good grades and, you know, do all that shit. Try to sort of do well. That was kind of how it was out there in the country at the time. It's not like that anymore. Everybody in the country seems to be willingly fucking dumb these days, but that's how it was then. And then we moved to what I thought was the city at the time. Biggest goddamn city I'd ever seen in my life, my friends. First time in my life I'd seen a fucking traffic light. I thought those things were just movie props. I didn't know they were fucking real. Blew my mind the first time I saw a fucking stoplight. The fuck is that? We had stop signs every once in a while where I'm from, but not very fucking often, and nobody really paid much attention to them. But I moved to what I thought was the city at the time, and started going to school there, and I noticed a very interesting thing when I went to school in what was a bigger city to what I was used to, and it was that it was cool to be fucking dumb. It was extremely cool to be dumb. You don't want to know how many times I got a book slapped out of my fucking hand and got called a schoolboy because I was sitting there bothering to fucking read. And all the coolest people in school were the dumbest motherfuckers that existed in that school. Those guys did not grow up to be anything anything. I can almost promise you that. Not that I'm something, I'm a truck driver, my friends. But then when I was young, I got sucked into that. All I wanted to do was be the cool guy. And I was, believe it or not, fairly intelligent. I know, that's hard to believe. Fairly intelligent, pretty athletic. I could have made the football team and all that shit. But as I was so desperate as a young man, a very young man, to be one of the cool kids, you know how you do when you're young, right? To be one of the cool kids, I stopped reading books. I stopped doing my schoolwork. I stopped working out. I started smoking cigarettes. I started ditching school. All those things. And the good news is, my friends, I finally got accepted into the cool crowd. The bad news is it didn't do fuck all for me. Nothing came out of it, except I was cool for a few years in my early teen years. That's it. That's the whole fucking story. Impressive, isn't it? Well, my friends, I always think that about that same thing with the whole MAGA movement. In the MAGA movement, it is 100% cool to be a dumb son of a bitch, right? We don't want to learn things. We want to fucking be told what to think. We want to be lied to by Fox News. We fucking love being lied to by Fox News. We want to believe in conspiracy theories about Jewish space lasers and Democrat deep state weather control devices and pizza parlors in Washington, D.C. that are running sex rings in a basement, even though they don't have a fucking basement. We love that shit. We fucking love it, right? And that's how I've always thought of fucking MAGA. It is a requirement to be ignorant to be part of fucking MAGA, right? And that's how we ended up here. I've always considered being a Trump supporter as literally one of the most childish things you can do. You look like a fucking toddler when you wear your Trump gear and you talk about how great Trump is. When Trump wins an election, and your family stands around at Thanksgiving having a little victory party where you do the Trump jerk-off dance, and you're all so fucking thrilled that Donald Trump, the fascist, has come for your fucking rights, but you think he's coming for the rights of like brown people and gay people for some fucking reason, then you think fascism's okay. Being a Trump supporter is a very childish fucking thing. You don't want to learn about government. You don't want to understand how fucking anything works, right? And the reason I say all that, I know it took me 7 fucking minutes, and I know you're all still here, is to reinforce that I agree with Donald Trump's assessment that MAGA is full of a lot, my friends, of dumb motherfuckers. And now, since the right is so conspiracy theory brained, right? Everything to them is a fucking conspiracy theory. And yes, everything is a conspiracy theory when you're dumb as fuck. When you're really dumb and you don't understand how things work, then it gets the little gears turning and you're like, as long as nothing makes sense in the world, this bullshit makes fucking sense. There are conspiracy theories out there. There are things worth looking into. But when everything is a conspiracy theory, you might be a dumb son of a bitch, right? And Donald Trump, like I said, has thrived on that. He has worked the feeble brains of many, many Americans in his favor because Donald Trump is a con artist, he's a grifter, all these fucking things, and he knew what he was doing the entire time. Now, I have trouble figuring out if Donald Trump is a dumb son of a bitch or I don't want to say an extremely smart son of a bitch, because that's not what I mean, but either a dumb son of a bitch or a person that does see opportunity in every other dumb bastard out there. And that could be what's going on. And well, that makes him evil, but that makes the kind of the dumb people's fault also. Anyways, I wanted to cover that part, but I also want to cover a very, very interesting thing. And I talked about this in the video. This actually has so much potential as long as we don't let it die, and that's all of us on social media. You're making your memes, responding to comments, you know, anything you can do, making videos, being on podcasts, going on the news, whatever it is you can do. We cannot let this Epstein thing die, because it has the potential to absolutely obliterate the MAGA movement. But I want to be clear. I said this in the end of a video recently, and it's something we need to pay attention to. The end of MAGA is not the end of an attempt at fascism in the United States. Donald Trump has kicked the door open on that. His destruction of all our institutions and guardrails, and his ability to basically draw up a blueprint for how to make Americans loyal to you, has made it into a lifelong fight, even if MAGA falls apart because of this. So we have to keep hammering away on this specific thing. But a very interesting thing is fucking happening, my friends, and I don't know how to express my feelings for it. So much of the MAGA movement right now, so many people out there, because of these Epstein files. Remember, Donald Trump ran on, I'm going to release the Epstein files, because he was going to get the evil Democrats. You got to do the little hand motion when you talk about the evil Democrats, and he was going to expose them for who they were, right? MAGA loves that shit. They think it's fucking awesome. And look, I agree with it. Actually, I agree with that part. If there are people, period, that are involved in sex trafficking rings, they need to be exposed. They need to go to trial. They need to, I still believe in the process, go through the courts and be judged by a jury of your peers and all those things, and then be sentenced, and that needs to happen. It doesn't matter to me at all if it's a Republican or a fucking Democrat, but the Republicans have made it abundantly fucking clear that they're not budging on this, and they're not going to let that information out, except the random Republican here and there, okay? And we got to give them credit when they do the right thing. I understand it's hard to give a Republican fucking credit in this day and age, isn't it? Anyways, an interesting thing is happening. A lot of people in the MAGA movement are now starting to question Donald Trump. And they're like, my God, is he lying to us about this? Bingo, motherfucker, you got it. You fucking got it. That is the first step right there in being against Donald Trump. Once you realize that he's a liar and he has been lying to you, then you can start to put all of this together. Now, a lot of us figured this out fucking years ago, that Donald Trump was a liar. I don't know specifically, I can't think of a specific example when I went, yeah, this guy's fucking full of shit, but I feel like it was his first trip down the escalator to announce that he was running for president. His first speech, if I remember this correctly, he came down the escalator and he talked about how it's all Mexico's fault. They're not sending their best and their brightest. They're sending their murderers, their drug dealers, all of these fucking things. And in my brain, I went, this is fucking pathetic. This is the fucking weakest shit I've ever heard. This is a grown man blaming other people. And I knew right away that he was pandering to a certain demographic in America that won't pull themselves up by their fucking bootstraps, so to speak, and they'd rather blame a Mexican for what is going on instead of putting the fucking work themselves. And the sad thing about that is I knew it was probably going to work, because that's how I was raised, my friends. That's my fucking background. Blame the Mexicans. I didn't believe it. I could go into that story sometime. When I was a kid, when my brain was still being formed by the people around me, I did believe it. I believe they were the cause of all of my fucking problems. And maybe, I don't know, 100,000 subscribers, I'll drop you guys an hour-long video about all the bullshit that was kicked into my head when I was a kid, and how I fucking eventually learned to think critically and realize that wasn't happening. I've touched on it a little bit, but I could do a long fucking video. I'll think about it. Anyways, the first step in being against Donald Trump is the realization that Donald Trump is lying to you. This handling of the Epstein files is fucking epic, because they can't get their fucking story straight. They have spent years hammering into the brain of MAGA that the Epstein files were going to expose the Democrats. Then it comes back around and they go, oh, wait, yeah, we have the files. They're on our desk. Let's start at the beginning. Donald Trump campaigned on he's going to release them. Pam Bondi has the files on her desk just waiting to be released. They pull some sort of publicity stunt where they bring a bunch of MAGA influencers in and give them jack shit. I forget what they gave them, the Epstein files part 1, but the MAGA influencers were pissed about the information they got. It was jack shit. It amounted to fuck all. Then it kind of goes away. Elon gets pissed off at Donald Trump, threatens to expose him, and this whole fucking thing blows up. Pam Bondi comes out and says there's no such thing as the Epstein files. And it's brilliant. It's beautiful, my friends, because so many people went, wait, is this motherfucker lying to me? Yes. Now, I'm asking you a favor, MAGA, that's here listening, not the ones that are blaming Joe Biden right now. That's fucking goofy. These guys are NPCs, my friends. They're stuck on repeat. Joe Biden, Joe Biden. Fuck them. They're ridiculous. How can you sit here and blame Joe Biden for this? That is fucking absurd. Joe Biden did not campaign on I'm going to release the Epstein files. Joe Biden did not spend years saying that it's full of evil, demonic Republicans and we need to expose them. Joe Biden promised fucking nothing when it came to the Epstein files. There is one man that fucking did over and over. And that's the point I'm trying to make. MAGA, if you're listening, now I want you to go back through every wild claim that Donald Trump has made. Look, you're close. We've got some critical thinking going on here, and I love it. You are realizing that Donald Trump lied to you. Now start going back through all the things that he said, all the things he campaigned on, and start putting those together and ask in the comments. People will help you. I promise you, if you're confused about something and you genuinely want to know, I might miss the comment, but my viewers will help you. They will walk you through what's going on. And as you do that, you will realize that you have been fucking lied to this entire time. You have been taken advantage of by a con artist, and that's what he is. He's a lifelong con artist. And look, it's a long road to redemption. It really is. We've got a lot of work to do with you because you're a terrifying person that you fell for this, but we will work with you. I promise you that. You just need to realize that you've been lied to. You got suckered. You got conned. And that's where we're at with this whole thing. That's why, from my point of view, looking at this entire thing, the Epstein files are massive. Now, the things done were fucking horrific. I never ever want to take away from that. But right now, we have the biggest shot we've ever had to fucking just collapse this fucking house of cards, my friends. We got to keep doing it. And they're realizing that they've been lied to. That's huge, my friends. Anyways, got to get back to work. Love you guys. Bye now.